Next, we are moving for part C in university questions of computer architecture. So now the 20th question in part C. Describe the two approach for dealing with multiple interrupts. Multiple interrupts consist of interrupt vectors. Where is the interrupt vector routine? So ISR, various methodologies exist for establishing this. The simplest is to arrange that the ISR is always at the same address, or more likely a fixed address holds the address of the ISR. This way the system designer can locate the ISR anywhere in memory. For example, the 6805K1 can respond to three kinds of interrupts. This can be used by the internal timer, an external event, or via software. The address of the timer interrupt service routine must be stored at memory location 03F8. So the 68000 family of microprocessors can do this too. This can be seen in the following below diagram. So it consists of vector IV registers, vector IV registers. In memory, table of address in memory, so address located to pointer counter. This technique of the interrupting device effectively provides the address of its service routine. Saves time when there may be more sources of interrupts. This technique is slow, so time crucial. Critical devices will be examined first. The concept of time critical devices introduced the notation of interrupt priorities. The arrangement of devices facilitates a prioritized connection of multiple devices and can also eliminate the pollinating problem. So below diagram shows the data bus and the different types of interrupts. Here we will have device 1, device 2, device 3 and the interrupts attended by these components. All the devices in the chain have an interrupt enabled input and an interrupt enabled output, as well as an interrupt request output, an interrupt acknowledged input. With no interrupt pending, the interrupt input is effectively connected through the output, so a logic one propagates down the chain. In case where many devices are equally important, a scheme must be devised so that all devices are serviced equally. One way to achieve this is to use a rotating priority scheme, whereby the highest priority device after being serviced becomes the lowest priority device. Thus all devices gets a look-in. Computer to consist of numerous different programs. The importance of these programs is obviously visible. For instance, we might anticipate that a low-speed printer requesting service might be considered less important than an interrupt signaling that a powerful failure is imminent. So it is reasonable that the latter should take priority over the former. Next, we are moving for the 21st question in part C. Explain the various types of DRAM in detail. So DRAM stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. The common types of DRAMs are: number 1, synchronous DRAM, which is known in short form as SDRAM. Next, rambus DRAM, RDRAM, double data rate SDRAM, DDR SDRAM. So what's the use of them is synchronous DRAM. The synchronizes the memory speed with CPU clock speed so that the memory controller takes the exact clock cycle when the requested data will be ready. Next, RDRAM takes its name after the company that made it, Rambus. It was popular in the early 2000s and was mainly used for video game devices and graphic cards. Next one is the DDR SDRAM, is a type of synchronous memory that nearby doubles the bandwidth of a single data rate, SDR SDRAM, running at the same clock frequency by employing a method called double pumping. And next type is DDR1 SDRAM, has been succeeded by DDR2, DDR3 and most recently DDR4 SDRAM. So the below diagram shows the computer memory type. It is divided into two types: internal main primary and external secondary. In the internal category we are having ROM non-volatile and RAM volatile. The external secondary type we are having HDD, SDD, compact disk, USB flash drive. And again RAM is further divided into volatile RAM is further divided into SDRAM, SRAM and DRAM, and DRAM is divided into SDRAM, RDRAM, DDR, SDRAM, and DDR SDRAM is divided into DDR1, DDR2, DDR3 and DDR4. The figure shows types of computer memory. What are the types of DRAM packages? So next we are going to see about DRAM packages. Single inline memory module SIMM, double inline memory module DIMM. SIMM modules were widely used for the late 1980s to 1990s and are now obsolete. Current memory modules comes in DIMMs. Dual inline refers to pins on both sides of the modules. So the common types of DIMM are shown in the below diagram. So unbuffered DIMMs, fully buffered DIMMs, registered DIMMs, load reduced DIMMs. So these are all the types of the DIMMs categories what we can find out here. So the unbuffered DIMMs are used mainly on desktop and laptops. The fully buffered DIMMs are used typically as main memory in system requiring large capabilities such as the workstations. And next, the registered DIMMs are used as a buffered memory in services and other applications for its robustness. Next is the load reduced DIMMs. Use isolated memory buffers IMB technology which reduces the load on the controller. So next we are going for the 22nd question in part C. Explain the Booth multiplication algorithm with an example. Booth's algorithm is a multiplication algorithm that multiplies two signed binary numbers in 2's complement. Procedure: let M is the multiplicand, let Q is the multiplier. Consider a 1-bit register Q and initialize it to 0. Consider a register A and initialize it to 0. Complement notation. Conditions: if Q0, Q minus 1 are same, that is 0, 0 or 1, 1, then perform arithmetic right shift by 1 bit. If Q0, Q1 equal to 10, 1, 0, then perform A gives A minus M and then perform arithmetic right shift. If Q0, Q minus 1 equal to 0, 1, then perform A gives A plus M and then perform arithmetic right shift. For example, consider two numbers 6 and 2 and we have to perform their multiplication by using Booth's algorithm. Here 6 is multiplicand M and 2 is multiplier Q. Now write 6 and 2 in binary form. So M equal to 6 equal to 0, 1, 1, 0. Q equal to 2 equal to 0, 0, 1, 0. Booth's algorithm calculates the product in steps where n is the number of bits used to represent the numbers. So in the below diagram you can find out the Booth's multiplication algorithm, how it is performed internally in the computer. So we are having different fields there, and first one is the initialize, and next one is the A register, next one is the B register, next Q minus 1 and operations. So in this diagram what we are doing here is in the first state we are initializing all the registers to 0, and in step 1 arithmetic right shift is performed, and in step 2 A gives A minus 1, then we are shifting, and in step 3 A gives A gives A plus M, then shift, and as the last step arithmetic right shift, and finally we are getting the result that 6 into 2 is 12 equal to 1100, hence we are getting the answer of 6 into 2 using Booth multiplication algorithm. Next we are moving for the next question in part C, 23. Describe the characteristics of reduced instruction set architecture. So computer organization consists of RISC and CISC. Difficulty level is easy. So reduced instruction set architecture is given in short terms as RISC. The main idea behind is to make hardware simpler by using an instruction set composed of a few basic steps for loading, evaluating and storing operations. Just like a load command will load data, store command will store the data. Next, complex instruction set computer is given in abbreviated form as CISC. The main idea is that a single instruction will do all loading, evaluating and storing operations just like a multiplication command will do stuff like loading data, evaluating and storing it. Hence it is complex. Both approaches try to increase the CPU performance. This reduce the cycles per cycle at the cost of the number of instructions per program. The CISC approach attempts to minimize the number of instructions per program, but at the cost of increasing in number of cycles per instruction. CPU time. You can calculate the CPU time using the formula seconds by program, that is equal to instruction by program into cycles by instructions into seconds by cycle. Earlier, when programming was done using assembly language, a need was felt to make instructions do more tasks because programming in assembly was tedious and error prone, due to which CISC architecture evolved, but with the uprising of high level language dependency on assembly reduced, RISC architecture prevailed. Characteristic of RISC: simple instruction, hence simple instruction decoding. Instruction comes under size of one word. Instructions make a single clock cycle to get executed. More number of general purpose registers. Simple addressing modes. Less data types. Pipelines can be achieved. Next we are going to see about characteristics of CISC. So complex instruction, hence complex instruction decoding. Instructions are larger than one word sized. Instruction may take more than a single clock cycle to get executed. Less number of general purpose registers. Complex addressing modes. More data types. Example, suppose we have to add two 8-bit number. CISC approach, there will be a single command or instruction for this, like add, which will perform the task. In RISC approach, programmer will write the first load command to load data in registers, then it will use a suitable operator and then it will store the result in the desired location. So difference, RISC and CISC differences given here. Focus on software, CISC focus on hardware. Use only hardwired control unit. Use both hardwired and microprogram control unit. Transistors are used for more registers. Transistors are used for storing complex instructions. Fixed size instructions, variable size instructions. An instruction executed in a single clock cycle. In CISC, instruction takes more than one clock cycle. In RISC, an instruction fit in one word, but in CISC, an instruction takes larger than one word. Next we are going for the next question, that is the 24th question. Explain the organization of Intel 8085 with a neat block diagram. 8085 is pronounced as 885. 8085. 8085 is pronounced as 8085 microprocessor. It is an 8-bit microprocessor designed by the Intel in 1977 using NMOS technology. It has the following configuration: 8-bit data bus, 16-bit address bus which can address up to 64 KB, a 16-bit program counter, a 16-bit stack pointer, 8-bit register arranged in pairs BC, D, HL, recurse plus 5E supplied to operate at 3.2 MHz single phase clock. It is used in washing machines, micro ovens, mobile phones, etc. 8085 microprocessor functional unit. It consists of the following functional units: accumulator. It is an 8-bit register used to perform arithmetic, logical, I/O and load store operations. It is connected to internal data bus and ALU. Next is arithmetic logic unit. As the name suggests, it performs arithmetic and logical operations like addition, subtraction, and or etc. on 8-bit data. Next is general purpose register. There are 6 general purpose registers in 8085 microprocessor, that is B, C, D, E, H and L. Each register can hold 8-bit data. Next is program counter. It is a 16-bit register used to store the memory address locations of the next instruction to be fetched and executed. Next is a stack pointer. It is also a 16-bit register, works like a stack, which is always incremented or decremented by 2 during push and pop operations. Next is the temporary register. It is a 8-bit register which holds the temporary data of arithmetic and logical operations. Next we are going for the flag registers. It is an 8-bit register having 5 1-bit flip-flops which holds either 0 or 1 depending upon the result stored in the accumulator. These are the set of 5 flip-flops which are used here. Sign is 0 Z, auxiliary carry AC, parity P, carry C. Its bit position is shown in the below table. D7, D6, D5, D4, D3, D2, D1 and D0. Instruction register and decoder. It is an 8-bit register. When an instruction is fetched from memory, then it is stored in the instruction register. So next we are going for interrupt control. As the name suggests, it controls the interrupt during a process. When a microprocessor is executing a main program and whenever an interrupt occurs, the microprocessor shifts the control from the main program to process the incoming request. After the request is completed, the control goes back to the main program. There are 5 interrupt signals in 8085 microprocessor: INTR, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 and trap. So next is the diagrammatical representation of 8085 architecture. So the diagram is shown below. So it is having the different cells here where you can find out the different types of interrupt signals: 8-bit internal data bus, accumulator, temporary registers, flag, flip-flops, instruction registers, arithmetic logic unit, instruction decoder and machine cycle executing, multiplexer, timing and control, address buffer, data or address buffer. So there is all the components what you can find in the 8085 architectural diagrams. So that's the end of part C questions of April 2016 University question of arithmetic of computer architecture.